Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night and it's Nicole and Megan, and we are back to talk to you guys about water parks. That's right, people. It's almost summertime, and here in Florida, it's all about what do you do when the humidity comes. So we are talking about water parks today in the Orlando area. We're going to go ahead and give ourselves a description of who we are and where we blog at. So Megan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Megan. I'm Megan Gets Real on the blog, on all social, and on YouTube as well. We do lifestyle family stuff, and we also talk a lot about local Florida attractions and Florida life, since that's kind of where we're at. And I have 2 older kids, so I talk more about Florida life with older kids.
Awesome. And I'm Nicole Mucci, guys. I blog over at the Creative Stay-at-Home Mom, and we live in Titusville, so we like to do a little bit of everything in the Orlando area. And you can find me all over social at the Creative Sam.
SAHM, because some people won't know that, and they'll look for Sam.
I know. I get that a lot.
Some dude Sam is not your social.
So awesome. So Megan, why don't we kick it off? There are, how many water parks would you say in the Orlando area that we have?
Okay. Are we counting Orlando and Tampa?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're all in the same vicinity, kind of, right?
All right. So then if we're counting Orlando, Tampa, let's see. I'm going to literally sit here and count in my head. Volcano Bay, Blizzard Beach, Typhoon Lagoon. There's a couple like aquatics areas. And then over in Tampa, I know that Busch has Adventure Island. SeaWorld has their water park. So that's 5 so far. So there's quite a few of them between the 2 areas.
Yep. Very true. And I don't know. I have to say, I would say there's different levels of, your thrills of what you want to do for the summertime and when it comes to the water parks.
Definitely.
I know for myself, I would say probably one of our favorite water parks that we go to a lot is Typhoon Lagoon. The kids really enjoy it, although I have to say, if your kids are not strong swimmers, I would really avoid the wave pool because the waves are massive.
I've heard it's an aggressive wave pool.
It is. Other than that, I mean, they have some, they have some kid-friendly stuff. And there's definitely a lot more to do. I definitely like it more. I feel like Blizzard Beach is a little bit more on the adult side. They do have a cute area for the kids that my kids spent probably the whole time when we went. They spent there in the kids zone because it was kind of like set apart from everything. It was kind of like their own place to hang out and stuff like that. But as far as like Blizzard Beach, I feel like the main water slides and stuff like that are more for like preteen and teen and adults. So I would say, that about that. Have you guys been to Blizzard Beach?
That's exactly the funny thing I was going to say is we actually love Blizzard Beach because it fits our age and our demographic well. The wave pool isn't too aggressive. So, for my littler guy, he's 9 and he's a strong swimmer, but I still feel better if he throws on a life vest, but he can throw out a life vest and go out there and have a blast. Actually, we just ran a YouTube video yesterday because my husband and my youngest went out to the water park and spent a day over there, and they spent the day at Blizzard Beach. And he rode, I'd say 15, 16 different things.
Oh, wow.
He was on slides. They have the chairlift, the ski chairlift, which he loves. He thinks that thing's cool. And, they have some of the bigger thrill slides, but they have a lot of stuff that younger kids, when I say younger kids, I'm talking my more 9 to 12-year-old range can still enjoy. There's, and their lazy river is my favorite. It's just so relaxing to just float and go. So that's what I enjoy over there. And then, obviously all the nods to Disney you can't go wrong with.
This is true. This is
Now, I
true.
will tell you something has changed over there, though. My husband was looking for Goofy because, Goofy used to meet and greet over there, and he's not there anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was surprised to find that Goofy was taking the day off, that he was sick. So.
Oh.
But,
yeah. I like that aspect of Disney. Another water park that we really love, that my kids really love, is Aquatica. Aquatica is very family friendly, very kid friendly. There's a lot to do for adults, pretty much for every age category. There is something to do at Aquatica. And I love that the water is kind of warm. So we ended up going one year, I believe it was still March. It was still on the colder side, but the water was warm. So the only bad thing with that is like the water was warm, but then if you got up and you started walking, you were like freezing.
Yeah.
So we're like, stay in the water, stay in the water.
One of the things I like about Aquatica is they have the sprayers on the ground so that your feet don't burn walking from slide to slide, because some water parks don't have that. And there's nothing worse than burning your feet up going from slide 1 to slide 2. So I love that. And then they have a meal plan over there that's really good too, if you want to be able to just eat and not worry about it if you're doing a theme park day. We were able to do barbecue all day, and it's a buffet, and it's so easy to just walk up, grab your food, get a drink, whatever you need to do, and not have to stress it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we like about Aquatica. And it's also going to be a lower price point than some of like your Disney and your other water parks that you're going to see in the area.
Yeah, so I was going to say, if you're on a budget, Aquatica is very budget friendly for sure.
But you're not sacrificing thrills. They still have some big drop slides. They still have some fun slides. The only thing I'll tell you doing any water slide in Central Florida is be prepared to climb a lot of stairs if you're planning on riding the slides a lot. Because it is leg day all day if you decide you're riding slides.
I know. They were like, yeah, you guys need to work out. You know what I'm saying? Work it out.
Earn the slide. Earn the slide. You paid for it, but now you're going to work for it.
True story. I was going to say, probably our next favorite one would be Legoland. Legoland has one of the smaller water parks in the area, but it's very kid friendly, and I loved that about Legoland. And my kids really enjoy it because they feel like it's kind of like their size, and they don't feel as intimidated as if they go into like these bigger water parks. So for that reason, Legoland is probably a good one if you have smaller kids and stuff like that.
One of the things I liked about Legoland is it's a little more spaced out.
Yeah.
Somebody got mom faced.
I'm on TV.
What?
Yeah.
Why are you watching?
You gotta look at it, right?
Of having children. You know what I'm saying?
Go.
We gotta have an opinion of what we do. So
always. No, Legoland, I love that it's very spaced out. So it has a very natural, very calm feel. It's not going to be, at least when we were there, it wasn't extremely crowded. So we were able to go out. We were able to enjoy a little bit of stuff and just lay back and relax. And I love that their wave pool, if you will, is kind of pushed towards the back. So you're able to just kind of grab a seat, relax, and know that the kids are in an area where they're going to be able to stay. And you're not going to have to babysit and chase them every which way, because it's kind of one way in, one way out kind of thing.
I agree. Yeah, I love that about Legoland. And probably now, one of the other ones that I really like, it's not a water park, but Sesame Street at SeaWorld now has a splash pad that I'm super excited about. Again, it's not like a thrill ride type thing, but if you have smaller kids like myself who have a 3 and a 7-year-old, it's great because they're contained in one area and you don't have to worry about much. So I definitely like that about, that. And
Busch
then
has a really good splash pad, unless they've changed it. Their play area, as far as their water area, in Busch Gardens over in like the Sesame Street region, same kind of concept. They have a smaller one that's like a river that goes under a tree, and then they have a big splash pad that you can play on as well.
we haven't been to that one yet.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. Your boys would love it.
Yeah, we have to go and visit that for sure. This is something new. Margaritaville in Orlando is building their own water park.
Really?
So, yeah, so it's called like H2O, and they're having like a bunch of slides and everything. And you don't have to necessarily stay at Margaritaville. You can pay to go to the water park on your own.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so that's the cool thing about, Margaritaville. So it's going to be a different option for those living or staying vacationing in the Kissimmee area that don't want to pay like high ticket for stuff. I'm pretty sure it's going to be competitive and won't be as high in price.
Well, and along the hotel line of thought for a minute, any of your Disney hotels naturally have a good swim area, but one of the ones that's not necessarily Disney that's still really good is Bonnet Creek. Bonnet Creek over right by Disney Springs. It's not an official Disney hotel, but it's still, has a lot of the perks of Disney hotels. But they have their own lazy river, and they have their own small water slide. So if you're going to do a hotel and you want a good pool area, it's a lot of fun. And the neat thing about Bonnet Creek is they have two separate pool areas. So they have the area with the lazy river and the water slide. And then if you go to the opposite side, the partner hotel actually has an adult type of pool. So it's more laid back. It's more grab yourself a drink and relax. So you can kind of get both feels depending on where you're in the area.
Yeah. I think there's a resort too, like Coco Cay Resort or something.
I feel like I've heard of that one. What is happening in your house right now, child?
Okay, go. Yes. So Coco Cay is another. It's on International Drive, I think, and I think they have a water park too. And I'm not sure if you have to stay at the hotel or if you can go just to the water park. I'm not sure, but you can see it when you drive on International Drive. You can see it. It's like, either way you're going, you can see it on the left or the right. But they have a water park too.
I'm trying to think who else has good water areas. I want to say, there's a couple of the local parks, like just park water splash pad areas over there in Orlando as well. And I don't know them off the top of my head, so we'll have to throw them in the description or something. But yeah. I know that there's a couple really good splash pads that are, $5 or $6 a person, but it's a good option if you're visiting the area and you want to go play in the water, but you don't want the full day in a theme park kind of thing.
And Volcano Bay, I was going to say, is one of the water parks that I have yet to go to.
See, we even stayed at Cabana Bay and didn't make it to Volcano Bay because of the weather that day. But it looks gorgeous from right next door.
Right.
If you're going to do Volcano Bay and you're going to be staying at a hotel, try Cabana Bay. Because I'll tell you, we stayed at Cabana Bay for a hosted stay a month and a half or 2 months ago. And it's literally, you walk from the hotel right into the water park.
Oh, wow.
So if you're planning on doing more of like a water park vacation and not necessarily doing like theme parks, definitely recommend that, just because it literally backs right up to the water park. And then they give you like the equivalent of extra magic hours where you're able to get in there early and go play a little bit. And that hotel also has some really neat water areas. They have a lazy river and they have 2 different pools with a water.
Wow.
So, that's another option too. If people are in the Orlando area, if you're coming down to travel, look at your pools and look at your option in your hotel, and then decide if you need a water park day or if you just need a pool day at the hotel and then maybe a splash pad while you're in the parks.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you want to skip if you're already planning and you're doing theme parks and you don't want to pay extra for water parks, which honestly, sometimes, like, depending on the theme park, if you bundle it right, if you do the tickets and the water park, it tends to be a little bit cheaper than if you buy them separately.
True.
But if you're like, you know what, I'm theme parked out and I don't want like the huge crowds and stuff like that, I would definitely say what Megan said and try to get into like a hotel that has a decent lazy river and stuff like that. And there's different places around the area that offers that. I know like Reunion Resort, we stayed there, and they have separate play areas for the kids as far as splash pads, and they have a lazy river area and stuff like that. So, you know, look at where you're booking your vacation to see if that's something that they offer, so you don't have to pay extra for that stuff.
The other thing to keep in mind, and you and I can talk about this for a minute since we're talking water parks, I think it's important to note, the Florida heat can be really aggressive if you're not used to it. If you're from somewhere up north where it doesn't get our kind of hot or it doesn't get our kind of humid, Niccole, I think we need to take a minute or two and maybe give them some tips to handle our kind of heat, because it can be pretty heavy, especially when you're at the water parks.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the big tips I would give you is a cloudy day does not mean that, hey girl, a cloudy day does not mean that you do not have to apply sunscreen.
Yeah.
My husband was a lobster once because he thought that clouds don't mean sunscreen. So apply all day long if you're going to be here. And then plan to hydrate as well, because the fact of the matter is that it's very easy to get dehydrated here and to take an vacation and turn it into misery.
Yeah, I would definitely wear a hat and wear like long sleeves. I usually put rash guards on the kids to keep them hydrated, so when they get out and they're in the sun, they still have like a wet feeling on them. And we use hats and all that stuff as well. So I would definitely make sure you're hydrated, because in an instant, I mean, you can feel the effects of the hydration really quick.
And when we say hydrated, we don't mean, you know, all of those amazing adult beverages you might like, or the sodas and things like that come free. Yes, it is hot. The stuff that come free per se. You definitely want to go with water, and more water. Because as much as you're drinking soda, you need to be doubling that with water, because that soda is actually going to dehydrate you instead of hydrating you.
Yeah, I would definitely, you know, if you like Powerade, Gatorade, vitamin water, all that stuff, pack that
Definitely.
stuff. You know? If the kids are like, oh, I don't want water, I want juice, pack some of that, because, you know, it'll wear you out for sure. I mean, the sun here is no joke.
And it gets to a point too with the heat where you don't feel like you need it, where you don't think that you need a drink until it's too late.
Yeah,
I can tell you, with the money that you're putting into a vacation, you definitely don't want to have to go home early because you overheated and you dehydrated.
Yeah,
and, you know, that can happen quickly here. And you know, I've seen it happen. I've seen kids go back cranky. The other thing is, if you're going to do a water park, maybe try and find one close to your hotel. That way, if you guys need a break in the middle of the afternoon, from 12 to 3 is the hottest part of the day in Florida. So that 3 o'clock, you know, right about 4, things start to cool down a little bit. Now, I'm not talking, you know, cool breeze, but not like death walking on the surface with the sun hot. So if you needed to take a break, that 12 to 3 or 4 time would be a good time to head back to a hotel, get yourself a nap, feed the kids, rest a little bit, and then head back out and do a couple more hours in the water park when you've had a chance to rest.
I like what Dawn said. She said, try to bring that she has electrolyte powder to toss in a bottle of water.
Very smart.
Yeah. Yes.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have that, but I usually always have bottled water with me, or we use a lot of the reusable tumblers, so we have a lot of that and stuff. And if you're in the water parks and stuff, but probably another tip I would give you is to buy the refillable mugs.
Definitely.
Because that's a lifesaver. Instead of having to buy stuff constantly, get the refillable mug. I think it's like $1.25 to refill, and you can keep refilling it, and the water is free.
Well,
So,
and that depends on the park too, because some of them you pay I think it's like $13 for the mug, which in all reality, there's your souvenir for the trip.
mhm.
But some of them will give you free refills all day. And then some of them, I know that at Universal, and I don't know how it applies to their water park, but I know that at Universal, you can get their reusable cup for the $14. But the next day, you can pay to have it be a refillable cup again, and you only pay $6.
Oh, that's not bad.
So if you're doing multiple days, see what the policy is. The other thing is with those reusable cups, keep in mind that a lot of them will have a 30-minute penalty on them. So don't think that you're going to be able to get one and spread it across all the kids and the whole family. You're not going to be able to sit there and refill that bad boy over and over again so that everybody drinks.
Right.
It's going to be like a 30-minute penalty, 15-minute penalty before you can refill it. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, we usually get two.
Definitely.
2 is good for our family, you know. But yeah, those are all really good tips, and I always make sure to have a sufficient sunscreen with me anywhere we go. So I just leave it in my backpack, you know, because even when you feel like, hey, I'm not gonna get sunburnt, you will. It's
And
again.
sunscreen the top of your head, you white people, because those of you who are ethnic may not have this problem, but white people like me, if you don't sunscreen here, I'm telling y'all, I will get a sunburn right there along the top of my head.
Man,
And that is
wear your hats, people.
or the ears. The ears are another area. If you're not wearing a hat, your ears will get it, and the top of your head.
My gosh. Also, I would say that if you go to the water park, I don't recommend most of the time wearing a bikini.
Girl, no.
And I'm telling you this because, you know what I'm saying, had bad experience one time, did that, and my top done flew up. You know what I'm saying?
You had a Super Bowl moment, girl.
Yeah, I did. I was Janet Jackson at the water park. I ain't gonna lie. It was pretty funny.
No, and there are some of the water parks that will actually ask you to leave and go put more on. So if you're not, we'll say, covered to a certain standard, you will be asked to go.
Yeah.
What did Sarah say? Because it's not showing me.
She's laughing.
Oh, girl.
But no, I feel bad for the lifeguard kid that had to like see me come down because he was like, "Oh mercy, what was that?"
Hashtag mom bod. Oh,
yeah. But no, but yeah, like I was saying, you know, check your hotels, check the resorts, see what's available. I will say my top 3 from like the medium to the best for me. I think my third choice when it comes to water parks would be Legoland. My second choice would be Typhoon Lagoon, and my first choice would be Aquatica. And I'm not saying that the rest are, you know, sucky water parks or anything. I'm just saying that for my family and the age category, those water parks suit us the best.
okay. So for us, if I was to break it out for us, since mine are a little bit older, I would put Legoland third just because, you know, it's a calm, relaxing kind of thing. Now, with Legoland, I do believe you have to get park admission as part of going into the water park, though. So keep that in mind when you see the price point on their website, that it's not necessarily as cheap as you think when you have to get the park admission as well. So bundle it, make a day of it. And then for us second, I would say probably Blizzard Beach, just because, you know, we're able to do a lot there and we're able to have a lot of fun. And my son likes building sand castles there. And then number 1 for us is also going to be Aquatica, just because of the price point. I mean, it's something that is way more affordable for a family from Central Florida to get together and go do.
Yeah.
And, you know, the ability to bring in a friend for free certain times of the year, if you have an annual pass, is a nice perk too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think SeaWorld's one of those parks that if you do Aquatica and the park, it ends up being pretty cheap. So if you want to make a weekend out of it, or, you know, you got a long, like, for example, Labor Day weekend, you know, you got 3 days there, that'd probably be like your best bet, you know.
No, I don't remember. I know in past years it has. Do you know if the SeaWorld preschool pass still applies to Aquatica?
It does. So we did it one year, and I believe all I had to do was tag on. I think I paid $20 to add on Aquatica for the year, so that it wasn't bad.
Okay, because I know that they have the free preschool pass to the SeaWorld park, but I didn't know
Or maybe, or maybe it was I had to pay a little bit more, but it was worth it because it was for the whole year, and you would already get into SeaWorld for free. So I was like, this is nothing, you know.
Just for those families with small kids, I want them aware that that is a thing. So,
yeah,
you know, because
you gotta go to more water parks, Dawn.
Yeah, Dawn, I think we need to plan a day. Let's go hit a water park. You can watch my scared butt sit down there and wave at y'all from the ground while y'all hit all the water slides.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't do them water slides. There's not a chance.
I'm talking. But I think we covered pretty much everything we were going to cover for Tuesday as far as water parks. If you guys do have any questions and you want to learn a little bit more about the water parks, drop your questions in the comments. We'll make sure to ask, to answer them, and, share any blog posts we have about any of the water parks in the comments as well for you to look at. But thank you, Megan, as always, for being a good sport and joining me on Tuesdays. Make sure you guys join us next Tuesday at 8 o'clock, and we'll be back with some more fun from Orlando. So thank you guys, and have a good night, and I will talk to you guys later.
Bye, everybody.
Mommy.